In a world where losing in your fantasy football league isn't an option, we present to you Triple Coverage Podcast.
Hey YouTubers, make sure you click subscribe below if you want to hear more videos. Today we're talking about Dynasty average draft position. We're going to go over a few rookies, so sit back, crack a cold one, and enjoy.
In a world where losing in your fantasy football league isn't an option, we present to you Triple Coverage Podcast.
Multiple games with multiple touchdowns, like 2 games of 4, or like 3 games of 6, or like 4 games of 7, like 2 games of 2. Austin Safarian Jenkins. Fantasy points. So fantasy points. Almost like he had a rocket up his ass.
3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Triple Coverage Podcast. Today we are actually double covering it because one of us is missing.
Vacation time awaits him, I guess.
Laguna Beach.
Supposedly.
He may be hitting every beach. I don't know. Maybe he's driving down the Pacific Coast Highway right now. I am Jay up, and I have my brother James up here with us.
Whoop, whoop. Can you hear me in the headphones?
Not as well.
I wonder what's going on.
Is it your microphone turned on?
Yeah, it's always on.
All right. Well, here we go. Let's rock and roll with this. Today, we're actually going to talk about Dynasty average draft position. You should be right in the heart of your rookie drafts. Most of June and a little bit of July actually is when you're going to be doing those rookie drafts. Redraft doesn't start until like probably late August because you don't want to draft too early in a redraft because the injuries happen. Dynasty doesn't really matter because you got that guy for the rest of his career if you want.
Correct. How many times do you think, though, somebody drafts somebody? I'd be willing to know, or interested to know, that somebody drafts somebody and actually keeps that player for his entire career. Like, I make so many trades that I couldn't fathom owning somebody for more than like 3 years before I want to either move on from them, or I think there's better value, or I want to trade them for a pick and get younger, or whatever that may be. Like, do you still, like, on my original roster in that Venetian Dynasty League, this is year what, 3? We're going into 3.
Yes.
We have our rookie draft is tonight actually, and I think that of that first 25-man round draft, I probably only have maybe like 6 guys,
Yeah.
maybe left on my team that I originally picked, and that's 20 guys I've traded.
Well, we've pounded the table here at Triple Coverage Podcast about getting into Dynasty leagues. We're heavily involved now. Like we said, we're in our third year, which is still pretty fresh.
Mm-hmm.
But we've pounded the table about being active in your Dynasty drafts.
Yeah,
and leagues.
Well, you know what? I felt like I didn't know what I was doing that first year and that first draft, and I felt that I drafted some players that I didn't love, but I got sucked into the whole their age and where they were being drafted, and I just didn't really know what I was doing. And then once after that first year kind of happened, I saw my roster, I saw my team, I got more of a feeling of what I do like and what I don't like.
Right. And
I was able to go out and just trade and picks and do whatever. And now my team, I love my team, and it's only been 2 years. So even if you do have a bad draft or you're not sure what you're doing, there's always time to make up for it later in trades and draft picks and so on and so forth. So that's why I love Dynasty, is that instead of redraft where it's like you're stuck with that team the entire year and somebody goes down, they get hurt, and you're just stuck. In Dynasty, somebody goes down, you're like, all right, look, I got a winning record, I got to keep winning. How can I, maintain this? And you start trading draft picks, or you start trading other assets, and I just love it because redraft, you don't trade. People don't trade redraft.
no one trades. And if you get a first-round pick and you take, like last year, if you took David Johnson the first round,
you're done.
And yeah, your best guy's done.
Like, how many leagues do you think won that had David Johnson? How many players won?
You don't have any assets left on your roster to trade to get somebody, not even of his caliber, just like a RB2.
Somebody that you can rely on every week.
Right. You don't. So now you have to hit the waiver wires every week, and you have to pray that one of these guys pops. And I don't know, it's just a huge mess. Now, I'm not saying I'm out of redrafts. I still have a couple of redrafts.
I don't have any redraft.
I have 2 left.
You do?
Yeah.
I have 1 keeper league, and then I'm in 3 dynasty leagues.
Mm-hmm.
Different ones. One's a super flex, one is a tight end premium, and the other one's just a normal dynasty league. So I'm in 3 dynasty leagues. I got rid of all my redrafts. and I don't hate it. Like I'm not missing it at all. Like I don't know. It just doesn't excite me as much as all the other ones because of the trading and all the. It's year round, and I'm literally getting text messages even last night about trades, and the football season's still months away.
Right. So that's the one thing I like about it is how active everybody is. And at first, people weren't active at all.
They're
and now
scared.
everyone is like trying to better their team, which I love. That's
And-
all you have to ask for.
And one of the Dynasty leagues, I brought home the hardware, as you can see right in front of you, the ring and the trophy, which is the first time I've seen this type of trophy, was presented to me on Sunday night.
Yes.
For my, this is the league's inaugural season, first season, and I took home the hardware for Triple Coverage Podcast. As long as one of us three wins, then it's worth it.
Then we're good. Yeah, I have a couple of belts myself for different leagues. And
Toot
then
toot.
Travis has at
Yeah.
least one belt.
Yeah. This is
So,
my
yeah.
first hardware trophy in Dynasty.
Yeah, there you go.
So I'm making a comeback.
So we got you triple covered.
Yeah.
So let's kind of dive into rookies. So now, as we did, like we said, we did our first rookie draft of the season for us. It kind of put into perspective where guys are going to go, and you get a feel for it. But I started looking at DynastyLeagueFootball.com, where we kind of got our ADP. They're the most up to date.
Yep.
They're all the way through June, and you kind of see where rookies are going in startup Dynasty leagues. So I wanted to throw out a few names of rookies. I put like the top 8 rookies and kind of where they're going, and guys are going ahead of. And I want to see, James, I have a specific way I felt. I want to see how you feel about some of these guys. So
Shoot.
the first guy I brought up was Darius Geis.
Okay.
Okay, he's in every rookie draft I've seen so far. He's the second guy taken right after Barkley.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to talk about Barkley. He should be going in your first round of your Dynasty startup. And
Okay.
there's not really a big surprise there. So let's jump to Darius Geis. He's going 33rd overall.
This is in a PPR league, correct?
This is a
one
PPR league.
point for every catch.
And he's going 33rd overall.
Mm.
And he's going directly ahead, as you can see, of Jerick McKinnon, Jordan Howard, Gronkowski.
Wow.
Like, there's a few guys that I was like, yeah, I can kind of buy into the guys thing, but I think I almost might rather have like a Jordan Howard or a Jerick McKinnon, depending on who I got my first pick.
So, okay, for me, Jerick McKinnon is all aboard the hype train right now. Everyone's on him. So the chance of me owning Jerick McKinnon in any league is very slim unless I already had him before. I'm not willing to trade to get Jerick McKinnon because of what he
Asking price is too
demands
high.
for the asking price. So, but the one name that stands out to me, and I don't understand what the hate is on him, is Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard, I'm looking in our fantasy league, which is a PPR league, finished number 13 overall last season for running back. So he's basically a back-end RB1. So you have a RB1 who the season before that was in the top 20 easily. So and he's only how old? He's 20 what?
23.
23. I mean, Geis is 21, so he's only 2 years older than Geis. And now Trubisky's got a new offense. He's got all these new weapons around him. He's got 2 new tight ends, or a tight end, and then Shaheen's in his second season. But he adds Allen Robinson, adds Taylor Gabriel, adds Anthony Miller. Like, he's got all these weapons around him, and Tara Cohen's still there. There's no way you're telling me that if you said that Darius Geis and Jordan Howard are on the board right now, you can only take one. I wouldn't even think twice about taking
Howard's
Jordan
done it
Howard.
twice,
Like,
2 years in a row.
why take the chance on Darius Geis? It's that whole rookie
Yes.
allure of like
Shiny toys.
Yes, like he could be the next so and so. He could be the next blah blah blah. Well, you already have that guy. He's already an RB1. Why would you pass on him?
If your argument is going to be that Howard doesn't catch and it's a PPR league, we don't even know how they're going to use Darius Geis in Washington.
Well, you
they
have
have
Chris-
Chris Thompson.
Right.
So maybe Geis will get some catches, but Chris Thompson already has that role carved out. Granted, we don't know how long Chris Thompson will be there, but still, Darius Geis isn't like he's catching 70 balls a year for LSU. So it's like, why would you take Geis over Howard unless you're looking for that shiny new toy?
See, I was on that whole train of bashing Jordan Howard because of his catching ability and so on and so forth. But when they went and drafted Cohen and they basically used Cohen in that role, it took the pressure off Howard that he didn't have to catch 50 balls or 60 balls. He was their guy. He doesn't get pulled at the goal line like a couple of running backs.
Right.
He's a bell cow type of guy, even though it's like a little bit less because Cohen gets more touches. But last season he had 276 rushing attempts. Almost 300 attempts. Like that's a lot.
And you're grabbing him at the 36th overall,
Right,
which means
and-
back end of the third.
Which means he's number 2 running back.
Right.
Okay, and last year, just a touch on it, he had 32 targets still, and he had 23 catches. So yeah, he might drop balls, but 23 catches, that's 23 extra points that you're getting from your running back spot for a running back that quote can't catch. I mean, so to me that's not even close. Jordan Howard, but I just think that all these rookies that just came out this year, I have to say before you go into any other ones, is because last season we saw the Leonard Fournettes, McCaffreys, the Mixons, the so on and so on, the Dalvin Cooks, the Kamaras, the Hunts, like that whole first round basically, even with the guys that got hurt and everything like that, you saw like that a rookie running back is able to come in and just explode right off the get-go. And it wasn't like Ezekiel Elliott's year when it was just Ezekiel Elliott. You have like 5, 6, 7 guys now that are coming out
spoiled
and
by
producing right away. Right. Well, okay, what's going on right
it's
now?
It's not going to happen
round?
every year, but then you look at the rookie drafts and everything I've seen as far as like mocks or even like real drafts that were taken on average draft position, you're going eight running backs to start the draft.
Right, seven. Yeah, if anything, DJ Moore might squeeze in there at receiver, but yeah, it's all running backs because now everyone sees like, oh, okay, well, receiver you might have to wait a year on. A tight end you might have to wait 2 years on. Running back, it's like, hey, if you have the talent at running back, you're gonna play right away.
You're gonna rise to the
these
top.
guys are, these guys finished in the top 12 last season as rookies in a PPR league. You had Alvin Kamara number 3, Hunt number 4. You had Christian McCaffrey number 10. So you have 3 of those guys that are in the top 12,
right.
and that's with Dalvin Cook getting hurt. He probably would have been there too. So,
and that's what that kind of brings us to the next group.
I'm
so
not falling for it though.
I did them in order, but there's 2 different groups left that I want to talk about because of the rounds that they're going in. So we just kind of talked the back end of the third right there.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have Rashad Penny going 39th overall. You have Nick Chubb going 42nd overall, and Sony Michel going 43rd overall. So now those are all guys that are going in the 4th round.
Mm-hmm.
They're going directly behind Darius Geis, but they're all going in the 4th round. They're all ahead of guys like Evan Ingram, Aaron Rodgers, and I threw in like Sammy Watkins, who's still only 25 years old. But if you look at the guys that are right there,
What running backs though are going around there? You know what I mean? They're like, it's like that whole round is all
whole round
rookies.
is all rookies. The only guy is Derrick Henry is right there at the very end.
Okay, let's use that name then. Derrick Henry. You have Derrick Henry's on the board with those 3. You have Rashad Penny, you have Nick Chubb, and Sony Michel. 3 rookies, and you have Derrick Henry, who is still only 23 years old. So it's basically like he's, 1 year older than some of these guys?
Right.
So with 2 years experience, who are you taking? Are you taking a shot in the dark on one of the rookies, or are you going to take a guy that's...
The only guy that I would take possibly above Henry, and this is only a possibility, is maybe
1,
Chubb.
2, 3. Oh, damn.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was
Is that where you're going to go to?
Yeah.
So yeah, Chubb's the only guy with... I don't want Penny ahead of Henry, and I really don't want Michelle ahead of Henry. And you can say, well, Michelle's this and that, he's one of the Patriots, but he's going into a committee also, which Henry's in a 50-50 split with Deion Lewis.
But is Penny?
Penny, I think he's going to be, actually.
Who's he gonna be splitting with? Chris Carson?
Chris Carson's going to be spelling him. I don't think it's going to be like a 50-50 split. I think it's going to be more of like a 70-30 with Penny and Carson.
Okay, so 70%. What about Nick Chubb? He ain't getting anywhere near 70%. Like nowhere near.
Not in this first year, but I think Carlos Hyde's going to be gone next year. So you're talking about dynasty, not just immediate dividends. I think it's going to be Chubb and Duke next year.
You know what? I understand that, but that's a lot of assumption of... Yeah, Hyde could be gone, and like we've said it before on here, and we're actually going to talk about the Browns in a later episode this week about the Cleveland Browns backfield. But for now, like you're putting eggs in a basket in a rookie that you're hoping that the main guy that's there that they just signed to a contract is going to be gone. Like I tend to stay away from those guys, and I love Nick Chubb's talent, but when you get thrown in there with Duke Johnson, who just signed the contract extension,
right,
and you have Hyde, who they just brought in, you have 2 guys that are there that are definitely going to be there for at least 2 seasons, most likely. If they cut Hyde, they lose money, but I just don't. If it works well for them this year, why would they let go of Hyde? If it works good, because the coach already came out and said, we're going to play the hot hand, whoever that is.
Right.
Okay, Duke Johnson's going to be the pass-catching back, but Chubb and Hyde both had a lot of catches last season, so they can both catch as well. So if you're telling me they just keep rotating those 3 guys, and they have fresh legs coming in, and they have all this talent around them, and it's not like, for example, I like to use Detroit Lions. If LeGarrette Blount's in the game, the chances are they're going to what? Run.
They're going to run.
Okay, if you have Nick Chubb in the backfield, they could do both. If you have Hyde in the backfield, also they could do both. So it's like, you have that mix of good guys. I don't think any one of these guys is going anywhere anytime soon. If it works for them. All of a sudden, Cleveland wins 7 games this year, they're going to be like, all right, Hyde, see you later. We're going to go with Nick Chubb. Like, no, they're going to stick with what's working.
So would you take Henry over Rashad Penny in a startup draft?
That literally to me is such a coin flip. I can't even tell you. I'm not a huge fan of Derrick Henry, but it's just tough because Tennessee's changing everything. New coach, new offensive coordinator, new everything. They bring in Deion Lewis. How is he going to be used? Like, there's a lot of moving parts that are going on there. So I would take my chances on Rashad Penny, and I don't love Penny because he can't really block that well, and he's got a lot of issues that I don't like, but they're little things. They're little things that can be tough.
What about Chubb? Did you take Chubb over Henry?
No.
You take Henry over Chubb. What about Michelle?
Henry. Just because Michelle, he's same thing. He's
Michelle's the same age as Derrick Henry too. They're the same age, even though Henry's been in the league for 2 years.
I mean, with Derrick Henry, he's for sure going to get the goal line touches. Like, there's no question. Sony Michel gets down and gets a 50-yard run down to the 2-yard line. Chances are he ain't getting that touchdown, right?
Right.
So if you got Derrick Henry, who is not going to get pulled on the goal line, even if Deion Lewis goes all the way down and every time they get to the goal line they give it to Derrick Henry, at least you're going to get the touchdowns there. And I assume that's going to be more of a 50-50 split at the worst case scenario. So a 50-50 split and the goal line touches, I'll go with Derrick Henry over the other guys because he's just huge. He's huge. He's not going to get pulled.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean,
I know me. I'm a big fan of Henry, so you're not going to get any argument from me.
Like, I don't own Henry because every owner.
Because I try to get him in every league.
Yes, every owner that owns Derrick Henry is just waiting for him to explode. You know, everyone, and now it's the 3rd year, and at this point, if you hold on to him for 2 years, now it's this 3rd season. The chances are you're not letting him go for cheap. You're fully invested in this guy, and no one's going to offer you what you think you deserve for him because. As soon as that happens and you give him up and he explodes, you'll never forget that. You'll be kicking yourself forever.
Well, hopefully you're in a position to where it doesn't hurt you to hold on to him. Like if you're holding on to this guy, banking on him being your running back too, then you may have issues. But if you have him in a spot where he's like your flex guy and that's all you really need him for and it doesn't hurt you, then it doesn't hurt to hold on to the guy.
Okay, but where he's going in this, he's basically your number 2.
He's going at the very end of the 4th round.
So he's your number 2. Chances are you're going to go at least one wide receiver.
Possibly number 2, possibly.
Right.
Yep.
That's
what I mean. So
that's why I would take a chance more on, I guess, Rashad Penny over him. But I put all 4 of these guys right next to each other. And because of their ages, it's basically like you're getting a 23-year-old running back or younger in any one of these 4 guys. So it's very hard to knock any one of them. But we're splitting hairs here because all these guys I think have tremendous talent. But I've seen it from Henry, and I haven't seen it in the NFL level with the other guys.
Right.
So
here's a couple more guys that I kind of lumped because they're all going in the 5th round.
Mm-hmm.
Ronald Jones is going 50th overall.
I'll take whoever's after him.
Royce Freeman's going 51 right behind him. You have DJ Moore, our first receiver, is going at 58, and then you have Kerryon Johnson going right behind him at 59. Now, the interesting thing I thought about this was I'm not a huge Tevin Coleman fan, but I actually like Tevin Coleman as a fantasy player.
Me too.
And you have Ronald Jones and Royce Freeman both going ahead of Tevin Coleman, actually about 10 spots ahead of Tevin Coleman. And Kenyon Drake, which I'm not super high on Kenyon Drake, but he did produce last year, and he looks to have the first crack at the lead job in Miami this year. He's also ahead of guys like Mark Ingram, which I don't know why the hate on Mark Ingram is so heavy.
4-game suspension maybe, and they bring in Boston Scott, who's basically like a steroided Mark Ingram.
What about Alex Collins? They're going ahead of Alex Collins too, and I know that
we're going to talk
about Baltimore, and I'm going to share a couple things with you that I found out about that committee.
Okay,
well, that was interesting. So I don't want to go too deep into Collins.
Okay, well, I found something that I thought was just outrageous, and I can't figure out what's going on there in that backfield and why guys are getting drafted where they're drafted. And I have a bone to pick with the ADPs of what's going on there because I was shocked when I started diving into it, and I couldn't wait to get this information out. So
it's probably a lot of stuff I found too.
Okay,
which I thought was surprising.
Make sure you listen to Show Me Your Committees episode then. If you already haven't.
Either way, like I would rather take somebody that's proven, that's a free agent year, in Tevin Coleman, rather than Ronald Jones.
Okay, but that's okay for some people. This is where if you're new to Dynasty and it's your first, maybe second season, you're looking at the age, right? So you have Tevin Coleman, who's 25 years old already, who's going to be turning 26, and then you have guys that are Kerryon Johnson, 20 years old right now. You got guys that, like the other Ronald Jones, 20 years old, Royce Freeman, 22. So you're like, okay, I know what Tevin Coleman can do, but I haven't seen him as a number 1 back. He's always been there with Freeman and kind of split the duties, where if Ronald Jones just lights the world on fire in Tampa, he could easily steamroll over the other 2 guys that are there, Peyton Barber and Charles Sims and all those guys. Same thing with Royce Freeman. He's got 2 guys there that aren't really impressive. They've already had their shot the last couple seasons with C.J. Anderson and haven't done much at all. So Royce Freeman could come in and all of a sudden just be that Terrell Davis guy that just gets all these touches and he's huge, so he's not going to get pulled at the goal line and he can catch and all these other things. It's like that's a new shiny toy that people are going to fall in love with.
But here's the thing, and this is the argument I want to bring up.
Please.
With Dynasty. This is the same situation that Jerick McKinnon was just in last year, and you could have got Jerick McKinnon for dirt cheap when he was part of that Minnesota Vikings trio, especially when they drafted Dalvin Cook. You probably could have had McKinnon for a 4th-round pick because everyone's like, oh, whatever, they have Dalvin Cook now, they have Latavius Murray there for the goal line. You could have got him for dirt cheap. He's a free agent. He signs with San Francisco. Now you're getting 1st-round picks for this guy. sometimes multiple, like I've seen. So it's like, it depends on the situation. So now you have Tevin Coleman, who I feel is in the same exact boat. He's in a 50-50 split with Devontae Freeman. He's the 1B to Devontae's 1A, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's in his free agent year. They still use him quite a bit, but they don't wear him out. So now all of a sudden, Atlanta decides they can't pay both Freeman and Coleman. So now he goes somewhere to be the guy, like McKinnon just did, and signed a 4-year deal with San Francisco. So now all of a sudden, Tevin Coleman, he's gonna blow up. Like Jared McKinnon hasn't even played a down for San Francisco, and his value is through the roof, so bad that I wouldn't even trade for the guy.
Right.
So if you own Tevin Coleman,
I do.
He's going to be in the same exact situation next year. We don't know where he's going to go. We don't know if he's going to re-sign or if Atlanta's going to want to put that much money into 2 running backs.
They're not. They've already paid Julio. They've already paid Matt Ryan. They've already paid all these. They're not going to have 2 running backs making over $10 million a year.
So what if he goes somewhere that's an ideal situation, and all of a sudden now Tevin Coleman, you can go out and get 2 first-round picks for him. It's the same exact situation, in my opinion, to McKinnon. Everybody said McKinnon can't be an every down back. There's no way it's going to happen. He's saying himself, I can be an every down back. I can be a 3-down back. Tevin Coleman, I think, can also. He can catch really well, and
he's
he
a
can run for a
little bit bigger than I thought. He's 6'1", 210.
He can carry the load. He can do a first, second, and third down.
So, I mean, he finished last season in a PPR league number 23 overall for Tevin Coleman. That's with splitting with Freeman, and he also missed a game and a half. So if he plays that extra game, he averaged almost 11.2 points a game. That puts him in the top 20 or right out around number 20 overall. So middle of the round RB2.
Coleman is a guy right now, and this is my stamp right here. Coleman is a guy that I am buying as low as I can possibly get right now.
Mm-hmm.
The window for this is very small. It's very small. And even if you don't want to play the guy, you're like, you know what? I'm not a fan of Coleman's. I'm just not a fan. Buy him low now. Wait till the offseason and wait and see what kind of chatter he gets, and you may be able to flip him without even having to play him for a single game.
I love that. I always do that. I love buying a guy, and then I literally say, as soon as I get him, everyone's like, oh, why do you like this guy? I'm like, don't worry, he's not going to play 1 down on my team. I'm going to wait for OTAs and practices and preseason and all the hype that goes around the guy, and then I ship him right off, and he never plays a single down on my team. Going back to the Ronald Jones, Freeman, DJ Moore, Kerryon Johnson, out of those 4 guys that are all going around each other in the same 5th round, in a PPR league for me, I don't know why. I love DJ Moore. I love him, and I don't know what's going to happen in Carolina. They add Torrey Smith, and they have Devin Funchess. They just have a bunch of guys, and I think DJ Moore could come out as a wide receiver 2 there. He could even beat out Funchess and be the wide receiver 1 by the end of the season. So I love that, but if we're sticking to the running back theme here, I put them in this order. I like Royce Freeman, then Kerryon Johnson, then Ronald Jones in that particular order, and it's not even close. Like I think Freeman and Kerryon are close to me, but I like Freeman's situation more than I like Kerryon because Kerryon's got way too many guys there with the Garrett Blount and Theo Riddick, and they still haven't decided what they're doing with Amir Abdullah either. So I can't wait when Kerryon Johnson's like in his 2nd season, maybe 3rd, and he's about to go into his like rookie year contract. And Blunt's gone, and he's retired, so he's going to be like 33, 34, and Abdullah's probably gone, and it's just Theo Riddick and him, or maybe somebody else, and just Kerryon. I think that he will be fantastic. I just don't know if you have the ability on your roster, whoever's listening right now, to wait that year or 2 years possibly. But if you do, I promise it'll be big dividends later. But, I mean, for where he's going in a rookie draft, he's going like number 7 to number 9 in the first round.
I think that you're going to really see Kerryon explode in his 2nd year.
Right.
I think this first year is going to be not rough for him, but I think you're going to draft him in the first round, and you're not going to get what you want to get.
You're not going to get Saquon Barkley. You're not going to get probably Darius Geis or Penny points. You know what I mean? That first year. But
if you're set up well enough to where you can get Kerryon Johnson in the back end of the first round, and you can throw him on your taxi squad and just leave him there for a year, that's your best case scenario, in my opinion. I don't think he's going to struggle this year. I just think he's going to get kind of lost in the shuffle this first year because of so many people there that have their roles defined.
You have a new head coach that you don't really know what he's into. Like, is Patricia going to take the same approach as Belichick because he came from that system, and he's like, oh, I know the system works. I mean, we went to the Super Bowl every single damn year. Are we going to use the same thing? And like Rex Burkhead's going to be the Theo Riddick role, and like LeGarrette Blount's going to be that Gillislee role, how he was in the first couple of weeks, and like he's going to be like everyone has their role, just play your role and not worry about stats type of guy. If that's the case, then Carry-On's you have to wait on him for a little bit.
For me, the big thing was a point that Travis actually brought up.
Who's that?
Nick.
Oh, okay.
The guy that's in Laguna.
Okay.
He brought up Nick. Is it Bowden or Baden?
Sure.
The fullback that they just drafted,
Yeah,
and he was ranked in the top 3 as far as fullbacks, as far as blocking fullbacks the last 2 years in college. That's a guy that's going to be the lead blocker for Carry-On, possibly next year.
Should have been this year, but
he
he
hurt
got
himself.
hurt. Yeah.
He's out for the season. I think it was a torn ACL. It wasn't Achilles, right? It was a torn ACL, I believe.
Okay.
So he's out for the rest of this year. That's where I want to see it happen. I want to see Bowden come back and be the lead blocker for Carry-On with maybe LeGarrette Blount out of the picture. Then we'll see the real Carry-On Johnson. I think
It's
that's
like,
going to be a year away.
As a Lions fan, I love LeGarrette Blount because I think that like we actually now, when we get inside the 5-yard line, have a chance to punch it in without having to throw the ball 3 times.
Because you won't know what's going to happen.
Correct. As a fan, I love Carry-On. As a fantasy owner of Carry-On Johnson and the Lions backfield, it's tough because like I just want the Lions to win, but I also want to win in my fantasy league. And if I want to win in my fantasy league, the chances are I should probably just stay away from the Lions backfield for right now. But I fell in love with Carry-On. I had the number 107 in our rookie draft, and it went 6 running backs right in a row, and I fell right into it. And I was like, you know what? I don't really own any Lions players in this particular league. Let me get Carry-On Johnson. I don't have to start him right away because I have 2 stud running backs already. So I'll put him on my taxi squad, and I'll just wait, and hopefully he pops later on.
And as far as DJ Moore goes, because we haven't talked about a whole lot of receivers, I know you love him, but
I like him out of the. Who's your number 1 rookie receiver?
DJ Moore is my number 1 rookie receiver.
Was he before the draft and where he landed? He was in my top 3, but he was not my number 1.
He was definitely at the top.
You had Calvin Ridley, you had Cortland Sutton, you had Christian Kirk, and those guys.
Yes, they were all kind of lumped in the same kind of tier. Yes.
Right, okay.
And they were all first rounders in my opinion. The one thing that could have stood out for me is where he's going as far as receivers go. Will Fuller.
Too high.
Yeah, he's ahead of Will Fuller, and Will Fuller's only 24 years old. I know DJ Moore's 21, but if Deshaun Watson comes back and looks even half of what he did last year in that small sample size, that's going to be a high-scoring offense with DeAndre Hopkins and Fuller, and then you put Kiki Cutie in the slot. They have a decent running game. Their defense is back to being healthy. I think Fuller, in my opinion, I would take Fuller ahead of DJ Moore.
Me too. Scroll up a little bit. I'm gonna see.
You have guys like Cooper Kupp is going behind him, which Cooper Kupp's, in my opinion, is never going to be a solid number 1.
Yeah, but
in a PPR league, he's going to score points.
Yeah, I mean, okay, yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I agree. I mean, I just like guys that are going after him. I mean, I don't know. Robert Woods, same thing. Like he's only 26 years old. There's a lot of guys, but yes, Will Fuller. If it's Will Fuller and DJ Moore, I love Will Fuller. I actually do. I think he's gonna have a really good year if he stays healthy. But I'll take my chance with DJ Moore on Carolina's offense because, like you just said, like there's no way that sorry.
Who?
There's Will Fuller. There's no way Will Fuller's ever going to beat out DeAndre Hopkins as a number 1 receiver. But there is a strong possibility that DJ Moore could take over that number 1 role, and he could do that by like week 6. If he comes out and he starts clicking with Cam Newton, before you know it, like he's got to beat out Devin Funchess. Like,
no, but let's not forget that Cam Newton is not really a guy that throws 40 passes a game. Like he's a guy that keeps it pretty low with the passes.
Okay.
And a lot of those passes are going to go to Christian McCaffrey. So
yeah, those are jump offs.
Those still count as throws. So if you go look at Cam Newton's attempts,
he finished number 6 overall last season.
In what attempts?
No, in fantasy points.
No, what I'm talking about is passing attempts.
Okay, passing
because
attempts.
He runs, which kind of boosts his value.
I don't think you're off here. He threw the ball 492 times last year, dude. That's
what? Okay, but go through the attempts by week. Do you have any games where he threw
20,
like 40?
25, 32, 26, 29, 33, 52, 34, 32, 35, 34. So
besides that one game where he threw 52 passes, he's right around like the early 30s.
Okay.
In pass attempts. That's my only point. And then you look at Christian McCaffrey, he's going to get probably what, 7?
I hope. Targets, you're saying?
Targets, yeah. So he's not a guy that goes out.
Yeah.
He's not Drew Brees.
31 passing attempts a game.
Right. He's not Drew Brees. He's not Phillip Rivers.
But
he's
who
not
else
a guy
is there?
that slings the
Okay,
ball
so
around.
seven of them go to Christian McCaffrey. Okay, he ain't going to be throwing to the other running backs. Who did they just pick up? C.J. Anderson. Okay, he gets a couple of targets, but you have Greg Olsen. You have Ian Thomas as the other tight end that's there. You have Devin Funchess. Torrey Smith's not going to get, what, 3 or 4 targets, maybe? Like, there's still a lot of targets to go around there. I just think that DJ Moore's upside could be a wide receiver 1 talent within a year, and I don't see that happening from Will Fuller. And yeah, you might be happy with Will Fuller's production as a wide receiver 2, but for me, I'm always going to take the side of a guy that could have the potential to be the wide receiver 1. So if you're telling me there's 2 guys that are going right next to each other, one has the talent of being a wide receiver 1, the other one's always going to be a wide receiver 2, like Cooper Kupp and Will Fuller, I'll take the chances on the wide receiver 1, hope that he hits, and if he does, then now all of a sudden you have a gold mine in that guy.
I agree. I mean,
It's just, again, they're splitting hairs because they're going right next to each other, but if you had to put your stamp on it, you had to put your foot down. I'm taking the guy that has wide receiver 1 potential. And that's
well,
DJ Moore.
that's what I'm saying. We can differ there. I would probably take Fuller in that spot ahead of DJ Moore.
What's Fuller done?
I try not to fall in love with rookies too much. Like, I don't want to have like a whole bunch of rookies because everyone loves that shiny new toy that we've talked about, and the chances on all of them popping are slim. So when you have guys like Fuller that you've seen do it, and yeah, he's been hit by injuries, but he killed it in college. He killed it at Notre Dame. And then he gets to the pros, and every game that he's played and he's been healthy, he's done very well.
He gets a lot of touchdowns. He's touchdown dependent.
But he's also fast. Like, he's the guy that can take the top off of the defense. Like, I'm telling you, in this situation, I take Fuller over DJ Moore. There's a lot more rookie receivers that are going directly behind him. Like, you have Christian Kirk, Calvin Ridley, and Cortland Sutton. They're all going within 5 picks of each other right behind him.
Like
in the next round.
This is
the
his
sixth
last
round.
This is Fuller had, like you said, he was hurt last season. Okay, he missed the first 3 games.
He just turned 24.
Okay, but again, this is his touchdown dependency is weeks 4 through 6. He has 4 catches, 2 catches, 2 catches. But his fantasy points, because he had 2 touchdowns, 1 touchdown, it's touchdown dependent. Because without those touchdowns, he's getting you 2 catches for 30 yards, 2 catches for 50, 2 catches for 60. He's like a Torrey Smith almost. Then he plays a bye week 7, week 8 he comes out, 5 catches for 125 and 2 touchdowns. Blows up. Then look at the rest of the entire season. He gets 2 catches for 32 yards, 2 catches for 15 yards. Misses 3 weeks in a row because of injury, comes back. 3 catches for 26 yards, 1 catch for 10 yards. 2 catches for 15 for 7. It's like, and I understand Watson was in and out. I get that.
That's when Watson was completely out.
Okay, well, I'm just saying that he ended up having all these touchdowns. What, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 touchdowns he had, and he only played in 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games. He had 7 touchdowns. If we always say touchdowns are fluky, right? We can agree on that.
Right.
So if you cut those touchdowns and he only gets like 3 or he only gets 4, he's just a guy.
Yeah, but
I'm nervous to put him in there just because Deshaun Watson's coming back.
When he got hurt in week, whatever it was, 10 or 11, and then he missed a few weeks and came back. When he came back, Watson was already gone.
Okay.
So you had garbage at quarterback. So, like, I don't put any weight into that whatsoever. I look at the part where Deshaun Watson played, which was basically week 2 and 3, which Fuller missed because of injury, right? And so then he comes back week 4, blows up immediately. Week 5 blows up. Week 6 blows up.
He's not blowing up. He had 5 touchdowns in 3 weeks. That's not a blow. He only had 2 catches.
Well, what do you have to do to blow up?
That's a blow up.
5 touchdowns in 3 weeks? So what do you have to do to blow up? 10? 10 in 3 weeks?
I'm not talking about the touchdowns. I'm talking about his targets.
I'm talking about fantasy points.
Right, but fantasy points sometimes revolves around how many targets you're getting, and just because, okay, that's like Jerome Bettis. Jerome Bettis back in the day when he used to blow up, he had 3 touchdowns in a game. Is that a blow? So he had 3 carries for 1 yard and 3 touchdowns. You're not relying on that every single game.
I'm not relying on it. I'm saying fantasy points wise, blowing up. He's scoring 20 points, 30 points, 20 points. That's a blow up.
Okay. He had 19, 20, 14, 32. I guess that's a blow up. Okay. That's a blow up.
Okay.
Like I said, if you're saying touchdowns are fluky and you
I
take
just,
half those touchdowns away.
Wait until somebody does something in fantasy and you say he blew up. I want to see what exactly he did.
Well, he's going to have more than...
It better be 250 yards or 4 touchdowns in a game or something.
So for your gray, there's no gray area. It's either 250 yards and 4 touchdowns or 2 catches for 2 catches, Jay.
I'm not talking about catches. I'm talking about fantasy points.
Okay.
I don't care if he had one.
So you don't care
if
how
he
he
had
gets them.
one catch for 98 yards and it was a touchdown, and you
That's a blow
you
up.
get bonus points. then that's a blow up. If you
Really?
if he scored 20 points and he had one catch,
Okay. All right.
I'm
Maybe
only
we differ
talking
on
about
this.
fantasy
I'm not going to
points.
argue with this anymore. You just said that if a guy gets one catch for 90, so Jermaine Kearse does nothing all year, and he gets one catch for 99 yards and a touchdown with
He
the
blew
extra
up that
point.
game.
He blew up.
that game.
Okay. That's crazy to me. So one fluky long play, he blew up. Blew up to me means like the guy, like Tyreek Hill blew up. Tyreek Hill out of nowhere gets three consecutive weeks where he has 8 catches and 90 yards and a touchdown. That's a blow up. Like if you can consistently do it for multiple weeks and not have to rely just on the touchdown and very long fluky plays of like one catch, 68 yards and a touchdown, that's not a blow up. That's a lucky play that was probably blown coverage that's probably not going to happen again the rest of the year. That to me is not a blow up. That's just a circumstantial play that just happened to work out for the guy.
But the way
okay.
I look at it is if somebody's projected to get 6 points, a receiver is projected to get 6 points, and he ends up scoring 19, that to me is a blow up. Like he was supposed to get 6.
Maybe we need different
He's
terminology.
projected to get 6, and he got 19.
Can we call it a fluky?
So this week
can
he
we call
blew
it
up.
a fluky blow up? Because then what the next week he gets 0, 2, 1, and 6. Is it still a blow up?
No.
Okay.
He blew up week 3.
Okay, well then you better ship him off to somebody that you can sell that story to, because it ain't me, Cuffy. It ain't me. I'm telling you. Do you have anybody? Any other names that are there?
No, that was it. I went to the top 5 rounds. After that, it got kind of muddled. When you start, it was mostly receivers from that point on. You didn't have another running back for a while in the ADP, but they all start kind of lumping together. Like I said just a second ago, Christian Kirk, Calvin Ridley, Cortland Sutton were the next 3 guys off the board, and they were all right at the back end of that 6th round.
Yeah, I think
But they're going in the right spot, which is why I didn't really talk about them too much. They're going ahead of guys like Fitzgerald, who's possibly in his last season, Devontae Parker, that everyone's still waiting for him to
I was just looking
have
at
his coming out party.
I was looking at Larry Fitzgerald when you were flipping through earlier. He's going number 76 overall, and
Right.
and he's 34. He keeps saying that he might play. Like, okay, let's say that Bradford comes out and does okay, and then Rosen takes over somewhere, and he has Rosen and Kirk start working out a little bit. David Johnson's back now. They start winning games, and maybe they get a little bit better than we think they're going to be this year. He's only 34. It's not like he's 39 or 38. He's like in a wheelchair. He's 34, and he's putting up 100+ receptions every year. Why is he talking about retirement? He doesn't get hit very much. It's not like he's had concussions in the past. He's had no injury history whatsoever. He never misses a game.
This is
what's
This is my theory on Fitzgerald. I think that he's avoided injury every year of his career, basically, right? He's like the Iron Man.
correct.
And I think that he knows he's done what he wanted to do. Obviously, he wants to win a Super Bowl still, so
I
he
think
wants
he's
to play for
smarter.
that.
Yeah.
But he's smart, and I believe that he wants to get out before his body starts breaking down. He probably sees guys that are like continuously rolling themselves out there, and they're getting injury after injury, and then like the small stuff starts to affect you. You miss 2 weeks because of this, and then like you have turf toe and you miss like 4 weeks, and then this happens, you sprain your ankle. I think he wants to get out before that happens. I think he wants to like be healthy.
Retire on top kind of thing.
Yes.
And I mean, last season he finished as wide receiver number 4 overall, averaged 17.1 points a game.
I think he's going to try to take it year by year and just see how it goes. That's I don't know Larry Fitzgerald, but that's my thinking on it. I think that's what he's probably thinking. He wants to come out and he wants to be healthy when he retires.
Well, would you be willing to take a guy like that could potentially only have 1 to 2 at the most seasons left, a guy like that, Larry Fitzgerald, or somebody that's going well after him like Mike Williams, who's a rookie, Jamison Crowder, Michael Gallup, Anthony Miller, who's a rookie, Sterling Shepard is up there, Nelson Aguilar, all these guys that have been in the league or maybe are under 20. All those guys are under 25 years old. And Fitzgerald only has 1 or 2 seasons left. Do you take the sure thing for 1 more season? Or do you, say, you know what, let somebody else take Larry Fitzgerald. I want somebody that I know that I can have for at least a couple of years. And Sterling Shepard and
my
such.
opinion is all depends on roster construction at that point. If I'm in a situation to where my first 2 receivers maybe, or my first receiver's a pretty young guy, and I want to win now, I have no issue taking Larry Fitzgerald in that spot. Because it gives me somebody that I know is going to be solid for at least a year.
That's the problem, though, I think, is that he's going number 76 overall, which is, the 6th round? 7th, maybe? You don't know your roster construction. Out of a 25-man roster, he's going to be your 7th guy taken. At that point, you don't really know.
You know if you're trying to win right now or if you're trying to win in the future. Like if you're taking guys like rookies and all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'm not going to win this year, but give me Larry Fitzgerald, and it doesn't make much sense.
We need to interview and have somebody in the studio at some point to talk about who goes into a brand new Dynasty startup with the intentions of, I don't want to win right now? It's crazy to me. Like, I don't get that. Like,
We've been in them where people are doing that.
That's what I'm saying. We need to get one of them in here. Like, who's willing to put in $250 into a league and be like, with the knowledge of, I'm gonna make sure that I take all these guys for the future and not worry about winning right now. It's crazy to me. Like, that would only cross my mind as if I had multiple injuries after the season started, or I had multiple trades that happened to go bad, or people started retiring on my team unexpectedly, like a Calvin Johnson type thing that happened a couple years ago.
Right.
I would never go into, take my $250. I don't want to win yet. I'm probably not going to want to win for about 2 or 3 years when I'm $750 into this league. Like, I'm so worried about.
If you do win it that 1 year, then you're basically broke even for the last few years.
Right, you win, and you're like, okay, cool, I'm up $200. That pays my entry fee for 1 more year, and then like what? Then it's very hard to win a league multiple times. And in the one league that we just had, the TCP league that we just started, it's going to be our first year. We just did the Dynasty, and we just or the Dynasty draft, the startup, and we just ended it. There's 14 teams in there.
And
so,
it's a super flex.
14 team super flex. You're if you're banking on, I'm going to win this league year 3, you got to go through 13 other teams. It's even harder to win the championship. So what if you do that and you never win? You finish 3rd, then you finish 3rd again, and like you're like, wow, my team is exactly what I want it to be. I just can't get over that hump. I finished 2nd, I finished 3rd. Like it was never going to pay off. I just never understood the mentality of going into something knowing I'm not ready to win yet. Please explain. We got to have somebody in here or do a phone interview and say what's the theory behind that, you know?
Yeah, maybe we can do a whole episode on just strategies.
Yes, I would love that, and we should have probably done that today. Because I would love to hear it from Andre and Tony Fuentes.
Before we crack a cold one, I want to just throw out there, if you're still hanging with us and listening, we appreciate that. We are nominated for the Podcast Awards, which is the 13th Annual Podcast Awards. But starting July 1st, we need people, our friends, our listeners, if you know us from even our other job, to go on and nominate us as a listener. If you go to www.podcastawards.com, starting July 1st, they have, I think it's a month and a half where you can go on and just nominate us, and they'll be kind of picking or whatever, but we really appreciate if you could go on there and do that for us. Even if we just cause a little bit of a ripple, it gets our name out there, it gets to be seen by everybody, which we really appreciate. So if you could do that for us, that would be hugely...
Vote TCP.
Yeah, go on there and vote for us, okay? We really appreciate that. But other than that, keep listening. We'll have some more episodes coming up for you soon. And want to crack a cold one?
Let's crack it.
Let's crack it.